landlords are taking over, what this means for renters and smaller investors like me. Right guys, so today let's talk about a hot topic that seems to be making waves in the rental market, and that's the rise of corporate landlords and their build to rent schemes. So how does this trend affect renters, and also what does this mean for small-time investors like myself and you? Let's break it down. Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Sabrina, and over the past 3 years I've literally been documenting my whole property investing journey, which has mainly been converting commercial to residential properties. Right guys, so imagine the rental market as one great big pond, and on one side you have the major big players, the huge big fish. You have Lloyds, you've got Citra Living, you've got Blackstone. So these giants often own thousands upon thousands of properties, often through build to rent developments. And then on the other side, you'll have the smaller investors and landlords like myself, you himself included, where we'll own probably a handful or so. So these corporate landlords have been rapidly expanding their portfolios. For instance, in the second quarter of 2024 alone, the UK saw 1.2 billion build-to-rent investment alone, with single-family housing accounting for £816 million worth of that. And according to an English private landlord survey in 2024, nearly half, which is 45% of landlords, owned one rental property, accounting for 21% of tenancies. A further 38% owned between 2 and 4 properties, covering 30% of tenancies. So, do corporate landlords push rents higher? Guys, it's a mixed bag. So for example, data-driven pricing. Corporate landlords are going to be using really sophisticated algorithms in order to set prices and rents. So this may result in higher for renters, and that's especially true in prime locations. These build-to-rent complexes that you see, really sometimes they come with, and I know some of the ones that are built in Nottingham City Centre, they literally come with all these really expensive swanky amenities. They've got gyms, they've got working spaces, they've got all kinds. But obviously all of this comes at a price and a premium. And guys, also market influence. With these vast portfolios, you know, these corporate landlords can become giants in this space. I mean, even like corporate landlords like Lloyds, they're going to command a certain influence over the market. So yeah, they can probably sway prices and rent and cause them to go up. Are corporate landlords better than smaller landlords? Let's discuss. Pros to having a corporate landlord is basically consistency. What you see is what you get over a wide range of all of their properties or purpose-built projects. So corporate landlords are going to be able to provide standardised processes when it comes to development. So some of these build to rent developments are going to be like almost like a cookie cutter approach. So they're going to have consistency all over the range if they are building to rent. So renters can often benefit from a uniform consistency. That's it for purpose built developments. Professional management as well. These corporate landlords are going to have a huge team behind them for property maintenance. So you're going to benefit from that. That's going to be there, or so it should do. And long-term stability. These corporate landlords are highly unlikely to sell off any of their units, so you've got that long-term stability of property. So the cons, higher rents. These corporate landlords are going to demand a real high rent of all of the renters that they're targeting basically. They are literally going to be wanting top dollar for every single property that they have, whereas your everyday smaller investor or smaller landlord like myself and yourself, we might not even put up rents for a good while as long as we've got a loyal tenant that's in the property. So these corporate landlords, they're going to be wanting top dollar, which leads me into my next point. They're going to be less flexible on a personal level. So maybe you need an extension on your rent or something like that. A smaller landlord is more likely to listen to you. A bigger corporate landlord, they're just all about profits. They are profit driven and they will want the money coming in. And if heaven forbid you miss any rent or you delay payment or in any way, they'll be starting court proceedings as soon as they can. So they're basically, they'll be leaving as little room to lease negotiations as possible. What price is what they want, that's what they want to be getting. And all of this is going to be adding to you as a renter feeling like just a number. You're just going to be just another number that just for them to tick off and into place. You're not an actual person or human being behind that. So future trends and impacts on smaller investors. So guys, I do believe that the rise of corporate landlords is going to really change the rental market and the property market forever moving forward. So for smaller investors like myself, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to navigate a more competitive market. We're literally going to have increased competition, and you're going to have these corporate landlords literally snapping at our heels to get some of these properties that as soon as they come onto the rental market. So smaller investors like myself, we are going to find it a lot harder to acquire more desirable properties moving forwards. Also, market pressure, as we've already discussed, because these corporate landlords are going to be wanting top dollar for their properties, this will push up rents, and in turn for smaller investors like myself, that's probably going to be our niche, because obviously we might not be chasing that high rent. We'll be wanting to chase the loyal and reward the loyal sort of renters that we do get, and we can literally offer a more personalised service to our tenants and be more attentive to our tenants, because we are not too big in order not to care, but not too small either, so that we're there literally for our tenants. And regulatory changes, we might be a bit more limited in terms of funds to actually change as soon as possible in order to meet any regulatory changes. For example, the EPC changes that are coming in. The corporate landlords are probably going to be more equipped and have more money there to chuck at things in order to fix things as well. So as the market evolves, we might see changes that could affect both us as smaller landlords and also corporate landlords. So we need to be really hot on this and make sure that we are researching, we are looking into things, we are trying to be one step ahead so that we can prepare and at least prepare and play on a similar playing field to corporate landlords. So we need to be able to adapt quite quickly. I think with us being a smaller landlords as well, smaller entities, we can probably adapt a lot quicker than these bigger corporate landlord machine. But guys, what are your thoughts on corporate landlords? Are you still wanting to be in the rental market and the property market? Are you still wanting to compete with these guys? Let's start a conversation in the comments below. And I also feel as smaller investors, guys, we really do need to adapt. We need to change with the market trends as well. All of the extra fees and costs and everything that are coming into play, for example, stamp duty charge, yeah, we really do need to adapt to that. And watch this playlist next, where I literally might find a way to get through and mitigate against some of these costs that we are having coming through. See you later. Bye.